thank you all for coming to our year-end celebration, holiday celebration, no matter which holiday you celebrate. So thank you for joining us for this occasion. My name is Jason Grillo, the event director for AirMiners. Wanted to say that this is a bit of a different vibe from our normal events. We're going to have stories from people who want to talk about what their experience in carbon removal has been, to talk about who they might have helped, people who might have helped them, how they've seen it grow. From my point of view, thinking about where the industry was 12 months ago to where we are now, it's really night and day, in that, and also in terms of where AirMiners is, it's also a bit of night and day, in that we've had more purchases from Stripe, Shopify, Microsoft. Thank you to all of them. In fact, Stripe's announcement today of brand new purchases from 4 different companies, are going to propel the industry forward even more. To think that, not even, it's 12 months ago, Elon Musk had not yet tweeted about starting this new competition in conjunction with the X Prize, which truly has catalyzed a ton of startups to get into this space. We've seen our own AirMiners Launchpad start up, having completed batch number 3. We've expanded our own Slack community to include a Women in AirMiners activity. We're starting to get more activity in environmental justice as well. And I'm sure many of you will be talking about all of those and more as we progress today. But enough from me. I want to give oxygen to all of you, because truly, this is all about the community of people in carbon removal. AirMiners is a function of that community. We are at the center. We're one of many organizations at the center, but we're not the be-all, end-all. We exist in order to enable others in carbon removal to reach what they want. How we do that? Again, we've talked about events. We've talked about Slack. We've talked about we talked about our Launchpad activities. We've also alluded to starting a fund over the past several months. So more to come in 2022. These are exciting times. The industry is expanding. We're booting people up using the Boot Up program, which is also a 2021 addition to the portfolio of AirMiners activities. So very exciting, and buckle up, everyone, because we have taken flight in the industry, and it's only going to start to ascend even higher. Tito, stuff to add to this?
Hey, everybody. Happy Carbys. Yeah, just welcome to this this session to share your stories from behind the scenes. People that have helped you, people that have inspired you. That is so important for an emerging industry. To me, that's how this all grows, is people helping each other and then sharing that they went on that journey and talking about that journey. That's what we did last year with the Carbys, and this year is it's really focused on just sharing those stories so that other people can get inspired, but other people can copy and clone and improve upon. If you found a job this year in carbon removal, if you started a company in carbon removal, it's not a solo sport, right? There were incredible people along the way who helped you, and this is a way to share that so that we can get to gigaton scale carbon dioxide removal as fast as humanly possible. So just think about it as a way to opportunity to give back and to spotlight everything that's happening. So yeah, really thrilled to be here.
Cool. So without further ado, thank you to those of you who stuck your hand into the air and said you wanted to say something. I'm going to start off. I've got an order set up. We're going to start off with Sandia Martin. So again, feel free to take as I'm not going to be too strict on timing, but but we want to give time for everybody to say their piece. So Sandy, go for it.
Thank you. Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Sandia Martin. In Spain, I go by Sandy because Sandia means watermelon in Spanish, but my company is Amada Green, and it's been fun and interesting this year doing this virtual networking thing, which has been very strange and different. But thank you, AirMiners, for helping keep these conversations going through this weird COVID time. In the past year, a lot has changed and progressed. We've progressed with Amada Green, and we've gone from building the idea of becoming a biochar producer at the very first of the year to current day, where we are almost completely ready to begin construction. And we are listed on the carbon market as a pre-project as well. We've forged many relationships in Spain where our facility will be, and the government officials in the area are helping to get us set up and acquiring permits, and they even wrote us into a grant, which we just were so surprised and about, and it was wonderful. We found investors who love our project, and actually they found us through somebody helping us. And we haven't signed with them yet because we need one last thing in place to be able to turn our packet in. And I suspect this is something that maybe others are struggling with. And that last thing is that we need is an off-taker agreement for someone who will buy our biochar, where will our carbon get sunk? We don't know yet. And we'll have about 2,000 tons a year, actually scaling up in the first 6 months to probably about 4,000 tons, and maybe more than that. We have 5 more facilities planned after that. And so our plans are to grow rapidly, and we're hoping to find someone who wants larger amounts of biochar. And that's the last commitment we need in place in order to launch our funding. And I think we are on the cusp of that. And the interesting thing is that last week I was at the 3-day IBI Biochar conference, and there was an interesting topic that came out, which is exactly this, the same as us, finding the market for the biochar, and at the right price too. And I think that this topic is a discussion that needs to be pushed forward and talked about more, and more than just admiring the problem, but how are we taking action on building the market? And together, rising waters will lift all ships, and we're hoping to collaborate with everybody and have everybody to help each other so that we can all work and go down this journey and help build the market. And that's our update and our call for collaboration in the market. And we just have one last thing to do, and we're on our way.
And we're thankful for you for being here today. So wonderful, wonderful. And thank you. So you're in the right community. So feel free to go to the AirMiners Europe channel, the biochar channel. It's all there.
Thank you.
Awesome. So next we're going to do Heather Langsner.
Thank you. Actually, this is good because I don't know if I can attend the whole thing. I have a chopped up day, but I love the Amada, the company there, and I actually have some ideas for you, so we can chat offline. But I think I wanted to share, and this might be a little bit of a downer, but maybe understanding better what we're up against will help us move forward and find a path. But I did want to just relate that I had a meeting not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, with a group of women who consider themselves to be environmentally knowledgeable. And they, for whatever reason, when I explained to them that I was a member of AirMiners, immediately had the adverse reaction that I didn't expect. And I do believe that it surprised me, because I guess I've been so stoked about the fact that I can finally find people who share my passion for carbon removal. And that I've been so steeped in all the different activities of AirMiners and everything, and I'm very deeply involved in the technical side. It just surprised me that the reaction of these women was so negative. I guess people out there still are miseducated about the numbers that we're dealing with and what we're facing, the time component that we're facing, and probably like not understanding the technical aspect of it too well. And so perhaps that there's still a little bit of foot dragging in the communities that we think would be our helpers, but are not, because they still think that this is something as a crutch for industry. And we certainly, I think, I think we can come together and think about what the right response is to something like that. But we do need to be cognizant this year about the fact that we still do face this in certain pockets.
Understood. Understood. And the great thing is that there are efforts underway to develop that public face of carbon removal. Maybe not, again, AirMiners is one of many organizations that are doing that. Certainly, I see Marcus here from the X Prize. Hi, Marcus. Carbon 180, and there are other organizations starting up. So, how the public face of carbon removal, how that public discussion happens, that's certainly something we're all grateful for you all contributing to in your own way every day when you present yourself to people who are surprised, not in carbon removal. So great. Next, and so thank you, Heather. Next, we're going to go with Roger Smallin.
Hi there. I'm Roger Smallin. I first wanted to give a shout out to the AirMiner boot up. I did that in 21 and found it really, really helpful to kind of go over the whole area of carbon drawdown. So anyone on the call who hasn't done that, I'd recommend it. My big thing this year was co-founding a company called Earth Foundries. Our goal is to create economical and sustainable forest waste disposal. The goal is to do that by upcycling it into carbon negative products and energy, with the goal of stimulating more and better forest management to ultimately address the California wildfire threat and climate change. We're located in the San Francisco Bay Area. Anyone who was out here in 2019 remembers the Armageddon that took place in the summer when we had all the fires around us and the sky turned orange. And it was really kind of the final straw to say we wanted to go do something about that. So we're just getting started, but our goal is to work with a lot of the land managers in the surrounding area first, in Santa Clara County specifically, but then more broadly, to take their waste streams and do something more productive than landfill it or ship it off to the Central Valley. So anyway, a lot to do, but it's an exciting time and we're looking forward to 2022.
Indeed, we all are. So I'm going to share the order in which we're going to do everyone else here. I understand people are under time constraints. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share a video message from on my screen of someone who was not able to be here today, Aaron Fitzgerald, and get his thoughts on what 2021 meant for him. Can everyone see that?
Yes, but not hear it.
Oh, okay. Tell you what, why don't we go on to Anjali? We'll come back to Aaron's message later.
All righty. Hi, everyone. So I want to first do a shout out to Siobhan, my partner in crime with the Women AirMiners. We had a great year really exploring this space and getting to know so many wonderful women in this community. Just engaging in a way that is maybe a little different and a little bit more intimate. And I'm also just really inspired by her, and I just wanted to say that out loud, just because while she, well, like I'll just tell this little story. While she was, I think, literally launching her MVP for Thanks a Ton, she was also exploring like different ideas for her next startup. So I just love her energy and her clarity of vision, and I'm so inspired by her. So I wanted to say that. Also, I wanted to say that I love this community so much because the sense of urgency that we all have really brings about this really unique spirit of collaboration. And because of that, I was able to sort of come into this community and just say yes to so many things. Over the last 12 to 18 months, I have worked on everything from developing a software product that looks at conservation monitoring to developing carbon policy for the beef industry in Uruguay to crypto carbon, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around. And it's just been so wonderful to just say yes and explore so many different things and see how the world is trying to tackle this problem. But by saying yes, I have also learned how to say no to what I don't want to do, which I know will lead to more yeses. So I just want to encourage everyone to say yes if you still haven't quite found your way. And I also want to shout out to Lori McGunthery. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name. She's awesome. She helped me figure out how to say no better because I have a tendency to say yes too often. And she basically is like a life coach, like personal trainer, team builder for with her company Violution for just specifically climate folks. And I highly recommend you reaching out to her if you're stumbling along the way or just want some clarity and want to just go for it. I'll let her speak for her own skills and stuff, but I want to say thank you to those two incredible women and to this entire community.
Thanks, Anjali.
So good.
Yeah. And thank you, Lori, and thank you, Siobhan, for all your contributions to the community this past year. Okay, so I'm going to, I thank you, Stanley, for the suggestion on how to do Zoom. I'm going to start off with Aaron's message now.
Happy holidays, AirMiners fam. Aaron Fitzgerald with Mars Materials here. I wanted to quickly say thank you for all your support and camaraderie during our carbon removal journey to date. 2021 was big for us at Mars. We participated alongside incredible carbon tech companies in the inaugural Carbon of Value program, sponsored by NYSERDA. We also participated in another NYSERDA-sponsored program, Venture for Climate Tech. All of this enabled us to validate our commercial pathway for our technology and get us slightly closer to our goal of turning carbon fiber into a viable, long-term, and useful carbon sink. On the team front, we've grown our headcount from 2 to 4. It's myself and 3 chemical engineers, 2 of whom I've had the pleasure of meeting through AirMiners. So special shout out to Christian Gupsh, our co-founder, and Trey Sheridan. I'm so grateful to work with you two and Patrick every single day, and I can't imagine going through this climate fight without you. For others in the AirMiners community who are interested in joining our team, we're hiring, so check us out at realizemars.com. Cheers to 2022. Bye.
All right. So Aaron couldn't be here today, but his words resonate very well. So again, if anyone needs to depart a little early, let me know, and we'll try to bump you up the list. So next, we're going to go to, let's see who.
Is it Tom?
Okay, is Tom Praviti here? Going once, going twice. No. Okay. Kareem.
Hey, hi everyone.
Whoa.
So so hi to all AirMiners. I just wanted to have a very simple message. I mean, just to reflect on last year. I think 1 year ago, actually, I started a company with just let's say a strong but vague aspiration to do something in the negative emissions. I didn't know the term CDR or AirMiner at 1 year ago. It was not on my radar anymore. And 1 year later, I've been through the boot up. Great training material, actually, which I found by chance looking at a Carbon 180 newsletter, which was one of the really free training for discovering negative emissions in CDR. So I said, yeah, That was incredible. Met one of my co-founders in the Boot Up group. So really also nice. And then we're moving from just a simple concept to maybe not yet a product, but a commercial approach and first partnerships with existing biomass facilities and try to convert these into negative emission plants. So shout out to you all. And also wanted to say that, so I'm based in France, so happy to network with any of you guys in Europe. I'm trying now to give back a little bit to the community by, trying to organize. We organized with Jason a couple of events and also David with investors. And trying also to bring people in Europe and to the AirMiners community, those who are interested in CDR. So thanks a lot for all that you're doing, and very glad to be a member of this nice community.
And thank you for taking a leadership role in driving the Europe channel forward. It's been really successful so far, and we look forward to even greater activities in the future in Europe. In fact, all around the world, to be honest. Again, this is a global community. We need to have global solutions to a global problem. And the more voices we hear from disparate backgrounds, from diverse backgrounds, from otherwise underrepresented backgrounds, is going to make for better solutions that are going to more effectively get our climate, our economy, our society to where it's going, to where we need to be. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for that. Sticking in Europe, we're going to go to Eric, one of our newer AirMiners.
All right. Hi, Jason. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me well? Is okay?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Very good. Amazing outfit, guys. I love it. It's Christmas. Christmas spirit. So I'm very new in the community instead, and I'm very new in a carbon removal as well. So I'm more going along with what's happening in the chat, getting few pieces of content there and there, trying to go some courses with Siobhan, for example. I bump into some RFQ quite often, so I'm trying all the time to coordinate some teams. That is in Singapore, in France, or sometimes I have RFQ in US as well. And the community of AirMiner has been great so far. Like Maya introduced me to a professor in Colombia, and I have few interaction with other teams. So great spirit. I love it. A lot of energy from you guys, and I love that. And I'm still learning a lot, of course. I'm also a data analyst, and I have a team of data analysts and startups, and we are gathering a lot of information. One project that I like particularly is to gather all the registry of carbon removal into one place to be able to see all the credits, who buy, who sells, and so on. And I'm happy to share information with all the community and to work in groups and so on. So please don't hesitate to use me, to introduce me to groups and so on. I'm very active and I want to do a lot in this field. So happy to interact with you guys.
Okay, awesome. Glad that you can be you can be here. And again, the spirit of connection is something that we pride ourselves on as a community. Again, we're not just a Slack group. We're not just a boot up. We're not just a launchpad. We're not just events. It's these activities are the how and the tangible expression of that. But it's a community of people in carbon. So thank you, Eric, for that.
Thanks.
Next, we have, let's see. Let's go to one of our Launchpad teams. Start off with Alicia.
Hello.
Speaking of Launchpad.
Speaking of Launchpad, yeah, I have 3 shout outs, but they're all quite quick. The first one is to Tito and Jason for Launchpad. So I started a climate tech startup a few months ago and was still very much in kind of like part-time exploration phases when Launchpad emerged. And so got to join the first cohort there. And it was just a really helpful mechanism to be like part of a structure of other people thinking about similar things. And the other thing that was quite useful was that it was basically a forcing function for a friend of mine who I was sort of curious about whether or not she could be a co-founder, but for her to actually seriously consider, because we had this scheduled program. And then it was a trial period for us, which ended up working. And then we started the company together shortly after. So thank you so much for doing that. And for everyone else who's been in the cohort. I see Mike here as well, who's in our cohort. The second shout out is to someone named Paul Gross, who founded a company called Remora. And this is a mobile carbon capture company. So they're capturing carbon from semi-trucks. And I think similarly to like my own journey, Paul was very concerned about, the climate crisis, as we probably all are, kind of studied the space and then figured out that there was an opportunity in mobile carbon capture. And he got into Y Combinator a year ago. And then we recently applied to Y Combinator, and he did a mock interview with us. And then we were lucky enough to get in. And the partner at YC specifically said, thanks, Jason. The partner at YC specifically said, like, I worked with Paul and the Remora team, therefore I want to work with you to do the same thing for maritime, which is what we're doing. So it's just like an example of how I think sometimes we think about sort of like gigaton scale global impact, when actually even just our individual choices and actions can help trail new paths for other people to start other companies. And kind of, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of mobile carbon capture companies out there, and now we can maybe be number 2. And so, yeah, just like if you're thinking about doing something, please do, because it might help others to do things as well. And then finally, someone named Shil Ghosh, who is a co-founder at Mission Zero Technologies. When I first joined the AirMiners Slack, I posted a little intro, and Shil jumped on it because he had expertise in one of our areas, which is calcium looping, which is quite obscure. And then we had a chat, and since then he's just been super helpful over email, and I think like unnecessarily so. And it just potentially takes a few minutes for him, but saves us weeks at a time. And so, yeah, if there are things that that maybe are quite obscure, would just encourage you to take the few minutes to help somebody for whom it's brand new, because it can make, a huge difference. So thank you to, Jason, Tito, Paul, and Jill.
Thank you, Alicia. All right, continuing with Launchpad folks, Mike.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to pick up on some common themes here that kicked off with Anjali, I think. I got connected to AirMiners almost a year ago, I guess. Probably shortly after you opened up the Slack platform. And that was because one of my academic startups was in a carbon removal technology. So I'm like, okay, I got to get educated about this space. But what has happened is, since I attended Boot Up and Launchpad and got, deeply connected with AirMiners, I met a bunch of other people. And so now, in addition to the first company, Air2X, which just received an NSF grant, I'm working with a portfolio of different companies, and I'm able to, share my startup expertise to help multiple different carbon removal technologies get off the ground. And so it's been really gratifying. And then on top of that, I've ended up linked into policy advocacy, working with Foundation for Climate Restoration and Open Air Collective. And Jason is joining in on that, trying to get Washington State to do some things. And so it really has become pretty much my full-time gig. And I just am delighted to be part of this global mission-driven community where, it seems like everybody's here for the right reason. So thanks for being here.
Yeah. And again, grateful to have you along the journey, Mike. Again, this is a field that's still extremely permeable. People, 2 years ago, I just got into AirMiners, right? People just come even without too much experience in carbon removal. That's why we have the Boot Up, to get people well versed in it. The space has to be a place where we include as many voices as possible. So thank you. Awesome. Next, we've got Professor Zhang. Professor Zhang, are you ready?
Jason,
Hey.
I'm sorry, I actually just woke up from a nap. Just got on now. I didn't hear what was said, but I think it's doing 3-minute self
Sure.
introduction, right?
Yeah. And any progress any ways you've any people you want to recognize in the community? Any ways that you feel like being part of AirMiners has helped, and where you see yourself going in the future in your endeavors in carbon removal?
Yes. In fact, when I saw your message, I said I have to participate in this. The reason is actually, I think the AirMiner event I participated in, I guess a month or two ago now, was actually very useful. I would say really a milestone for me. I started to work on this idea called wood harvesting and storage about 15 years ago. Published papers 2008 to 2013 and so on. And in 2013, we actually conducted a demo project near Montreal, Canada, which we went to actually excavate the wood we buried. You know, the main idea for colleagues who do not know is to sustainably harvest wood or other biomass to take it out of the active biosphere, meaning not live vegetation, not active soil, but really subterranean environment, put it into a geological reservoir, essentially. But I had been working on this as a scientific idea, hoping somebody else will pick it up or recognize. And people have actually, the National Academy report, even said it's totally doable along that line. But other, for example, reviews of terrestrial carbon sequestration, like the Smith et al. Paper that was very influential, didn't even mention that. But anyway, so I was doing this research, including demo project. I have confidence that it will work, but it's just not out there. I remember, Jason, the comment you made in the beginning of the event was actually really hit me. I need to connect this to practice. And it's actually, now that I've seen a bunch of these things, we register for the X Prize competition. And over the last couple months, I've been thinking very hard. In fact, my university venture people have been helping me to get this going. It actually has become clear, very clear to me based on the data, everything we have. It's really something that we should try to put in practice. Yep. So I want to thank Jason, wish you guys best in terms of, that's somewhat of an accent almost, Zhang brought me into this event. That I think I'm very hopeful. Your event, our organization, AirMiner, what you guys do, I think this is an example. Of course, the future will tell whether this particular idea works out or not, but I think it's, from my point of view, it's great. Thank you.
Thank you. We need all ideas on the table. Again, one of the another aspect of our carbon removal community is that all approaches are important, needed to this task of removing multiple gigatons of carbon from the atmosphere. So even though you might say that biomass harvesting and terrestrial storage underground is a little bit less heralded than others, it is a interesting field that warrants work and thought and revising approaches. So looking forward to seeing how that approach, that method develops in the future. Thank you. Next, we're going to go with Omar Sadoon.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me back here at the AirMiners. Yeah, so my story is, I don't think it's that unique, but I think in the sense of just how helpful the AirMiners community was not that many months ago, I owe a huge gratitude and debt of thanks to this group here. So I was going through a master's degree focused on climate change and was just wrapping it up and was really having trouble networking, meeting in different communities online and not so much in person thanks to COVID, but really wanted to focus more on negative emissions technologies. Couldn't really find much even in through school. And then I found the AirMiners community who, some folks encouraged me to do boot up. I had a really great experience there. I learned a ton about the different methodologies for taking carbon out of the air. And then from there, I met the founder of Planetary Hydrogen here in Canada. And while I was going through all that and having conversations about potentially, doing an internship there, Jason and Tito were kind enough to let me host an event, a panel discussion about CDR in Canada. And that went so well. And there's so much that came out of that I did end up joining Planetary Hydrogen, where I am now a full-time employee. So I just want to say that it is possible. I came from a totally different field. I was working in healthcare before, but I was able to make that transition. And it was in no small part thanks to this group of people here. I'm incredibly excited to contribute back. So however I can help others going through the same journey, feel free to reach out to me, and wherever I can find time, I am happy to tell you that it is very possible and you're in the right place.
It's a remarkable story, Omar. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to share the link to the AirMiners Carbon Removal Canada event, so you can see the job that what a good job Omar did with that, and potentially share that. Looking forward also to again further developing the industry in Canada and elsewhere around the world. So here comes the link. There we go. Next, speaking of some of our favorite Canadians, let's go with Tyler Robinson.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I just wanted to give some quick gratitude for the AirMiners community in general to start. As someone who's continually looking to contribute and engage, and hopefully one day find a full-time position like Omar, I'm just super inspired by all the work that all you guys are doing. More specifically, I want to give a shout out to the initial participants of the Launchpad program. I've been lucky enough to follow some of their progress, and it's very inspiring to see all these entrepreneurs take that leap of faith and build something in this space. So yeah, thanks for everyone for the energy you're contributing to this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can accomplish in 2022.
Coolio. And thank you, Tyler, for all your for all your help in assisting kind of behind the scenes to craft the Launchpad program and after. So awesome. Next is Thomas Morgan.
Hey guys, Timo here from Carbondale. No pun intended. The name of the town, but I was going to just thank one person, and then I was going to thank three people, but I thought about it some more, and to me, this is the value of the community here and the network. And so I just wanted to kind of run through the list of the individuals who have helped me. Jack Sullivan got me here. He mentioned AirMiners back in the fall of 2020. It took me until April to actually get there. And I was like scratching my head on what the AirMiners name was. But I'm glad, Jack, I appreciate you pushing me and getting me here. And I appreciate our civil discourse. A shout out to the whole AirMiners crew, Tito, Matthew, and you, Jason, for providing the platform, the energy, the structure, the direction for the community. Shout out to the Boot Up team. I'm going to mention just a few of them here because some of them are going to be mentioned in the other part of my list here. But Deanna, Raheem, Jordan, I've enjoyed our interactions. the different science people. Whenever I have a science question, you basically turn to just the Slack, right? And you get tons of answers. So Grant, Norman, Shannon, really appreciate all the answers you give. All the side conversations I've had, Duncan, Brian, Caleb, and Jeremy Epstein, who's helping me over on Twitter with the refi movement, which Tito's going to come on Friday and talk. So super psyched about that. And then want to send a shout out to the core benefits team that resulted from the climate sprint we did. Neil, Natalie, Jim, Will, Peter, Anjali, Lori, and Nisha. So thank you very much to all of you guys for all your help and contribution there. And then the last one is John Sanchez. So seeing someone young like John, give without any expectation of return, and in terms of just like an altruistic means, and helping create the Carbon Removal Academy and the Climate Sprints platform. John, you're a really special guy, and just want to send a shout out to you. So, but thanks to the AirMiners community, I'm excited to network and keep it going. And I'm super active on Twitter, and there's this whole movement called Regenerative Finance Refi. Would love for you to come over there, come hang out. There's some cool, crazy shit, excuse my language, happening over there. So thank you.
Timo, thank you so much for everything you contribute to the community. It's been more than, wait for it, a token effort. Had to go there, sorry. Next, insert Julia Castleberg.
Hi, I don't have much to say. I mostly just wanted to say thank you to the community for welcoming me. I think the Carbys last year was actually when I kind of got hooked. I was like, wow, these are great people. They're all just so nice and friendly and ridiculous. And so I stuck around, and and what have I done since then? I helped with the conference. I helped set up Boot Up, and now I'm helping out with Thanks a Ton, which is really fun. And yeah, I think the neatest thing for me is just seeing how Boot Up, it's not even a year old, and I can still remember the first day when John was like, hey, we have this idea and we just need someone to help throw stuff together. And it was me in the background. The first round of Boot Up was just me in the background, like Google Docs, everything. And now there's a website, and there's 500 people in the Slack, and it's all on Airtable, and it's just it's so cool seeing that so many of you actually went through it and got a lot out of it. So thank you all for trusting us and our madness. So yeah, I need to head out, but that's all.
Awesome, Julia. Okay, speaking of Thanks a Ton, and we're going to be thanking everyone a ton today, we're going to go on to Siobhan.
Hey guys, how much do you guys love AirMiners? This is so nice. We should have like just a monthly AirMiners love fest. I guess I just want to say, first of all, like shout outs to everybody on this call almost. Like I look around this call and I feel like, aside from I think Laura, Katayama, and Tito, were the only people I've met in person, but I know the majority of you. Like I know most people on this call, and we've all had one-on-ones, and like I feel like we've met in real life. So that's not true of all climate communities. I am like a climate community junkie, and I'm part of all of them, and I'm on 12 different Slack groups, and I should cool it. But I have to say, AirMiners is my favorite. AirMiners wins. And so just huge shout out to Jason and Tito for organizing this, because I think so much of it does come down to like the organizers and how you build the community. And you guys just have done a really good job with that. And I really appreciate you guys always being super proactive and being like, hey, like the whole reason that Anjali and I started Women AirMiners was not because we were like, we should start Women AirMiners. It was because Tito was like, hey, there's not enough women in this community, and like put the call out there. And so that never would have happened if you guys hadn't been so proactive. So just, shout out to those guys. And of course, Anju, I think, had to hop. But I just wanted to also just kind of share the success of like, I'm also part of On Deck, and was just in a couple meetings where people are like trying to find co-founders. And, they're using On Deck, they're using Work on Climate, they're trying to find co-founders. And I'm here to tell you that your co-founder is probably in AirMiners already. So find them here. I was super lucky. I did John Sanchez, huge shout out to John Sanchez again, jump on that bandwagon. I did one of his climate sprints. I think it was the first one because I just passed my 1-year anniversary at AirMiners and met my co-founders through accident. You know, we weren't really trying to meet each other, but there's just so much energy and will to make things better here at AirMiners and will to like tackle things. And then when you build within community, you have so many resources, which is a theme we're hearing a lot of too. It's just like how many people in AirMiners are willing to support you and offer you resources and really root for you to succeed, because most startups don't. But at least we know that like here we have this community that's rooting for us to be that like 10% that make it. So yeah, just thanks to everybody. I'm going to get on my phone and listen in as I go pick up my kids from school. So thank you. And thank you for the flexible, supportive community.
Thank you, Siobhan. Siobhan also was instrumental in starting up our first ever Latin America focused event conducted in Spanish this year. So
that's true. And if everyone's in Latin America and has not reached out to me, please reach out to me. I want to meet you.
Sí. Usted tiene conocer Siobhan. Sí. Okay. Laura, your co-worker at Thanks a Ton. Feel free.
Well, thank you. I can't really help but reflect on how much my life has changed the past year because of AirMiners. And especially last year's Carbys. A year ago, I was passionate about working in CDR, but I didn't really know it was called that. And I didn't know how to connect with it. And by luck, I was connected with AirMiners, and I felt welcomed in this group, even though my background was retail shopping center leasing and development, about as far away from CDR as you can come, I think. And last year's Carbys was one of the first events I participated in, and I really liked the fun and the positive energy of AirMiners, despite the all hands on deck nature of the climate crisis. And the Carbys kind of sealed the deal in my mind that I wanted to work with this group. I wanted to learn all I could about CDR, and I wanted to commit to changing my career to work in CDR. And over the past year, so many people of you here today have helped me to make that transition. And some more people that aren't on the call today, especially John Sanchez. And I'm so thankful for all of your support. And then just to follow on with what Siobhan was saying, I met my co-founders through John Sanchez's first problem packs. And even though we didn't solve the problem assigned to us, we coalesced around an adjacent idea and we're figuring it out. But that we each bring different strengths to our team, but only made possible by the welcoming and inclusive environment of AirMiners. So I do like to think that adversity also brings opportunity. And here I am a year later, I've learned a lot. I've met a great group of people to work with together on the very complex problem of CDR. I have co-founders in a startup, and I'm finding my own fit to work on something I'm passionate about. So thank you to AirMiners, and especially to you, Tito and Jason, for making this environment possible.
Laura, your words are so important. So thank you for everything that you've done and everything that you, for the journey, sharing the story of the journey that you're on. One thing that I think a lot of us have experienced in terms of our own journeys in carbon removal is something you touched on, the idea of serendipity, that, you know, you start off on one problem and, oh, isn't this interesting? You know, I've read somewhere that one of the most powerful moments in hypothesis testing in science is not, oh yeah, Eureka, I found it. It's, oh wow, that's cool, that's curious. How did that happen? You know, and things kind of and things kind of go from there. So speaking of something that we're going to do a little bit of a departure from the schedule right now, invite Marcus to say some words. Marcus.
Thank you, Jason. Love the fit.
Oh, thanks
for just including me. I just want to say a quick hello. I appreciate the time. I'll be brief. First of all, just congratulations on building this community. Like everyone has said, I think just we can't say it enough. Number two, especially thank you for Launchpad. That was huge for this X Prize I'm working on. So that really gave us a huge boost. So we really appreciate your partnership. And I know it's not just the two of you, but really to everybody. And third, I just want to say I'm really happy and proud and honored just to be part of the community as well. It's not easy working on a topic that a lot of people don't get. And some people even tell you is like a stupid waste of time, if I'm just being honest. I don't think that, but it's hard to hear it. And getting to hang out with people that are trying to stay the course is really inspiring. Last thing I want to say is this is totally random, but this isn't the topic of gratitude. And, just like remembering how you get into a topic and remembering to thank the people that helped you out. So I have this mechanical pencil that maybe you can see on Zoom, and I stole this from my first really good lab job, which was growing semiconductor lasers like 20 years ago. Yep. And I kept the pencil and I just decided, I just need to break it out because the lab director was like really militant and insisted on the pencil. Anyway, the story is I emailed him the other day out of the blue. Haven't talked to him in 20 years. His name's Tony Springthorpe. I know he's, quite elderly now. And he wrote right back and just said, hey, great to hear from you. That's the right answer. You're still using the pencil. And we've just sort of like rekindled a conversation after 20 years. I learned a ton from him. And it just made me think, remember to still use the pencil. Yeah, just remember to say thanks to the people and remember, who helped you out. And this community is a huge help. So thanks to everybody and all the best.
And I thank you, Marcus. And hope that in 20 years, we'll come back to this and say, hey, remember that time when Jason put on that strange, white tuxedo jacket, get up with the, with the silly looking Christmas hat, so yeah. Hope that in the future we look back on this, on these times and think about all the burgeoning potential that there was. And again, my hope is that in decades in the future, we'll review and say, yeah, that was really special and we did it. So awesome. Next, actually, Jack, Jason, which of you wants to go next?
Go ahead, Jack, if you want.
Hi, guys. I wrote down a few words and I'm honored to have the opportunity to share them. So, being an entrepreneur and trying to solve a problem by creating a new business venture is not an easy thing to do. Being an entrepreneur and trying to solve the greatest problem in human history requires a certain level of audacity and stubbornness and passion. I'm inspired by all of you here trying to make an impact through entrepreneurship, primarily because it's the right thing to do. Thank you for unknowingly giving me the strength to carry the same torch. I feed off your urgency and drive and creativity, and I'll promise to keep pushing if you do. And I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a joy-filled holiday season, and I look forward to re-engaging in 2022.
Thanks, Jack. As always, you're fantastic to hear your insights and thoughts and have a dialogue with you. So, and looking forward to engaging more in the future. Jason.
Hi, thank you. I know time's wrapping up, so I'll try to be brief, but it was probably around this time last year that I started learning more and getting really interested in carbon removal. I've got a background in the climate energy space more broadly, but once I learned about it, I decided, no, this is what I want to do. I want to thank Christoph Joss, who is not on this call, but he's the one who pointed me in the direction of AirMiners and to get involved. And I've spoken with a number of you that I see on this call, and I think that it is rare to find something that is purposeful, that is meaningful, and that you are all on really the vanguard, the cutting edge of something big here. I think just in the past year, you've seen so much momentum in this space, but it still is, you know, just the tip of the iceberg, and it needs to be. You know, this is the first step of a marathon that we need to run at a sprint pace. So I'm just very you know, thankful for having found this community. I'm going to be the co-founder of something called the Direct Air Capture Coalition. I'm happy to, you know, link up with anyone here if they want to learn more about that. Either shoot me a note via the Slack or LinkedIn or jason@daccoalition.org. And you know, it's just really been a pleasure being a part of this community. So thank you.
Thanks, Jason. I'm sharing a tweet from Ryan Orbach, formerly of Stripe, now at the Lower Carbon Capital, about being on the frontier. And yeah, I mean, this is strange. It's this thought that when you get to the cutting edge of something, there's surprisingly few people there for all the attention and all the potential of the space. It doesn't take very far to get there, and everyone's kind of, you know, with increasing confusion, everyone kind of asks, well, where's everybody else? Where's everybody else? Where's everybody else? And that's something that I think is commonplace in early stage industries, especially ones that could be, you know, literally world changing. That's that's why we have to, and that's why being as inclusive as possible is so important, and why all of your efforts at building out not just AirMiners, but the greater carbon removal community is critical to making this to be not just some companies, not just some people, but a movement to ensure a balance in our atmosphere, in our planet, and to do so equitably. So, and so with that, meanderings, happy to just open the floor to anybody else, anybody who wants to say anything about their time. This is an open-ended meeting, so if we go a little bit after the top of the hour, I'm down with that. You know, I can hang here for however long we want. But so yeah. Anyone else? Feel free to unmute. Feel free to talk about anything you like, and where you're at, where you've been, where you're going, and who's helped you along the way.
Hi guys, unfortunately I was unable to make it in person, so wanted to record a quick message, and really it's a message of thanks to Tito and Jason and the entire AirMiners community for being part of the community. If it weren't for AirMiners and the learning, the events, the access to incredibly bright minds coming from all sorts of different perspectives, I don't know if I would have found my own niche in CDR. I've been working in climate for my entire professional career. It's only in the last couple of years that I found carbon dioxide removal, which spoke to my passion of being at the cutting edge of technology, that entrepreneurial white space that exists and all of the opportunities available within it. And so having this community of folks in AirMiners, just to be able to learn, to see opportunities, to see what people are starting or getting involved in, has been invaluable to me. I found my niche at the intersection of nature-based solutions, of technology, of crypto, of climate, working with the Open Forest Protocol now. Couldn't be happier, and we need all of you to find your niche too, because as Tito likes to say, we need 1,000 shots on goal, and each one of those shots is going to take a whole team of talented folks to apply their skills and make that shot happen so that we can reach gigaton scale. So thanks for listening. Thank you, AirMiners community, for all you guys do. And if anyone wants to reach out, DM me through AirMiners or start a conversation in the Business Model Lab channel, and I'd love to connect. Thanks.
Well, I want to say I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for Tito for for giving me the opportunity to do this. Thankful to in particular Marcus for his work in supporting the Launchpad through the X Prize. I'm grateful to again Siobhan and Anjali and for starting the Women AirMiners group. I mean, so many people. I wish I could take more time to thank Paul Kuban at Creative Destruction Lab. I'm thankful for Jason Yuzinski for joining at the very last minute. Hey, Jason, for all of you to have come and to have been along the journey. So, like I said, if anyone else wants to say something, feel free, pipe up. Ardea, you unmuted yourself.
I
Go
did.
for it.
I'm glad I could hop on.
And you've got the microphone going. Very nice.
Very professional. I just think it's so wonderful, the community that you've helped to foster over the past couple of years, because that's not easy to do for people in person. So it's really not easy to do over the internet. And I've become a part of a lot of different Slack groups over the past couple of years and different communities. And you've done the best job that I've seen at keeping people informed with what's going on, having fun, and just being able to connect and really work towards building this new future that we all want. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Ardea has still the distinction of being an accidental volunteer for our first conference.
Very funny and true. Yes.
Again, someday I'm gonna put I'm gonna come out with it. So I'm a history major from college. Someday I'm gonna write the history of. I want to write the history of air mining, and that's gonna be a nice little. I want to write the vignette of that in there. So you'll have a spot, Ardea.
Thank you.
Again, thinking forward to 20 years in the future. Volume 1. So great. Cool. Any other thoughts, comments, concerns? One thing to say: if anybody has any ideas about things we can do better, please let us know. Please let me know, let Tito know. Share it on AirMiners in our general channel about ways that the community can do better. Again, this is it's a very permeable industry. We don't have all the solutions. We don't have all the solutions for how AirMiners can be the best that it can be. We don't have all the solutions for how to solve carbon removal problems. So AirMiners is best as a solution space. So ways that we can make things more effective, streamline things, start new initiatives. So share them as best you can when you can. Great. I've also added it's a little bit back in the chat, but I also added a link if you're not in AirMiners yet to go to where are you? Go to our AirMiners Slack. Feel free to apply and go from there. So,
Jason, if you mind, we are actually going down to Florida early January. There is an accidental burial of many tons of wood that seems to fit our vision, can be well preserved. That will prove the durability issue that has been really bugging the bio methods for a long time. I don't know if you know anybody or media or whoever is interested in, come with us to be a witness to see really how this plays out. Because you said you are a history major, I thought it might be interesting.
Yeah. I feel free to, I can't be there in person, but feel free to just if you're in AirMiners, to go into the Slack and just put something in general about how about people who might be in the area who might be able to go and witness it yourself, or themselves, I should say. You never know.
Yeah. Okay. Great idea. I just registered with your Slack.
Awesome. See you on there.
All right.
Just want to say hi. Also, epic hat, Jason. Love it. And
tux and bow tie. So classy compared to all of us.
Oh.
Sorry for joining late. I had a meeting that ended 6 minutes early, and I thought I'm going to jump on and see if anyone's still there. Glad you guys were.
These are easy to tie. Let me know. I
Okay.
wasn't looking at a YouTube clip for 20 minutes straight, just trying to figure out how to get it to work.
I didn't
really.
say that. Of course not.
No, of course not. All right, everyone. Have a great holiday, and we will see you soon. Thanks.